Hey everyone, my name is Ben Anderson. I'm with Run Networks. We are one of Nebraska's top-rated outsourced IT companies, and today we're here to give you an update on phishing and the session hijacking thing that you may have heard about. So the reason that we're talking about this is we have seen a significant uptick in fraudulent emails successfully getting through email filters, spam filters, all that sort of thing. And fortunately for Run Networks clients, we have some pretty good safety nets in place to help prevent successful phishing attacks from turning into a bad event, but they're a safety net, right? There's no foolproof method, and keep that in mind for your organization as well. The other reason we're talking about this is 95% of breaches are attributed to human error. People are involved, and people are truly the best and strongest line of defense. So making sure that people are up to snuff on what's going on, what the trends are, and what really could happen in the case that they are the ones that fall victim is really important to keep people on their toes, right? Here are some of the articles that we saw in the first half of this year. The big one is Change Healthcare. I think most people heard about that, especially if you're in the medical field. You've heard about the Change Healthcare incident. There was a United of Omaha life insurance company had an issue. There's a good number of successful breaches happening this year, a lot of them hitting close to home, and we do not want any of our clients or our company showing up in the news just like this, and I assume you don't either. So let's just talk about how could this potentially impact your company, or what's the outcome of a successful phishing attack? So first and foremost, you have loss of clients and income. That's pretty straightforward, right? If you have a bad incident, you probably aren't going to retain 100% of your clientele, or you may have a higher increase in turnover, and then income is generally directly impacted by that, obviously. Potential major downtime and the ability to serve clients is a big one, right? If your system gets ransomed, or if you have a complete compromise of your email, the inability to send emails, the inability to access your files, your data, leads to the inability to serve your clients in a lot of cases, which obviously impacts not only you financially, but also your PR situation, right? Which is the next point here, is loss of brand reputation. That's huge. If there is a company that gets compromised, that is a humongous smudge on their name, and it can lead to extremely expensive litigation, credit monitoring, fines, and insurance premium spike. But at the end of the day, you're no longer quite as trustworthy, right? And think about that, especially if you hold sensitive information like financial information or health information. That's some of the most important information that people have, and people are entrusting you and your company to protect that properly, right? So just to give you an idea, the average financial cost of a breach globally is $4.8 million. In America, it tends to be about double that. So we're sitting right around 9.6%. I'm sorry, 9.6 million as our average cost, just because of our economy. And then in the SMB space, so most companies under 200, the figure that we're seeing is closer to $600,000 to $800,000, right? It's a pretty substantial amount of money that can be taken out of a company in the case of a successful breach. The experts are estimating that the cost of breaches are going to continue to rise by 15% in 2025, which is just around the corner here. And that's kind of the norm that we've seen. The cost of breaches are getting more and more expensive every year, which is not really a surprise, unfortunately. So the first thing we need to talk about is an internet session, right? So I need to kind of outline what this is and how it ties into what's called session hijacking, which is one of the most scary forms of fraud occurring at this point. And so what happens is when you log into your bank account, your utility bill, social media website, let's use Facebook for example. When you log into Facebook, what happens is you type in your username, your password, and hopefully you enter your multi-factor credentials, right? And then what happens is your browser has what's called a session associated with it, meaning every time you click on a new button, whether it's profile or you want to go to marketplace or whatever, the session allows you to go to each one of those pages without having to re-log in every single time, right? So it kind of follows you around. And there's a component called cookies that goes in with that. Those two things basically track where you're going and say, yes, this is the person that authenticated or logged in using these credentials, right? So when you first log into the account, you'll have your username, password, multi-factor. Without the session, like I said, you'd have to log into every single page. And then sessions carry over your original login to the other pages, right? And then these sessions, this is kind of the kicker, these sessions can be used with SSO, which is single sign-on. If you've ever seen a page that says, click here to log in with Microsoft, click here to log in with Facebook, click here to log in with Google, that's what SSO looks like, right? And so how the bad guys can kind of use this this to their advantage is, one, they'll send you an email or text message that contains a malicious link. When you click on that link, what happens is it routes you to a bad website where it asks you to log in with Microsoft, log in with Google, log in with Facebook or whatever, right? And then you click sign in. Okay, so what happens is they're using a legitimate tool and it's calling out and saying, hey, is so-and-so, is Ben logged into Microsoft on any other web browser or any application on the computer? And if I am, what it'll do is it'll respond and say, yep, here's his session website. And then what happens is they're now logged in as me because I already logged in earlier when I clocked in for the day. I already put in my multi-factor when I clocked in for the day. Now my computer is giving them the session saying, don't make him log in again. Don't make him put in multi-factor again. But the problem is, while that's handy, the problem is this is a bad website. They are handing the keys to my email over to the bad actor here in this case. That's the real big impact to this, right? Is they are actually logged in as you. Now think about that if you are an administrator on your Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. They have the keys to the kingdom. They really do. And think about all the information they have access to if you're using OneDrive and SharePoint or Google Workspace and Google Drive, right? It can be really, really impactful. Here is a real example. Now, I had to take a lot of information out of this, obviously, but the point of it is there was a legitimate trusted company here in town in Omaha that got compromised. And what ended up happening was they were a victim to session hijacking. The bad actor logged in as them and started sending these, I think it's a OneDrive, if I'm not mistaken, but started sending these Microsoft-based emails out to all their clients. The email came from that person's real email address. The link was a trusted Microsoft link, and they ended up hijacking a bunch of people that trusted this company, right? This company got compromised and it was really bad for them. And I don't think it's still remediated. I think this is 3 or 4 months later. So the stinks of a bad link, what am I talking about, right? So you'll see on the right-hand side here, we have a URL. So it says https login.microsoftonline.com, yada, yada, yada. And you'll see in there in the pink, it says redirect URI equals this. So this URL at a glance at the beginning looks legitimate. And then you'll notice that it redirects the actual information being transmitted on the website to a malicious website, right? So the hijackers don't need to install anything on your computer. They don't need to do any crazy hacking or anything like that. All they need you to do is click on a link. That's it. And so I'm going to demonstrate how quickly this can happen. Here's a malicious email. Got a Microsoft password change. I will click on reset your password, and assuming I'm already logged in, this is how quick it goes. So click, awesome. Now I'm logged into Microsoft 365. Looks fine to me. I have no idea I just got compromised because I clicked on a bad link. Not a clue. And now that bad actor is logged in as me on my Microsoft 365 with my OneDrive, my email, my SharePoint access. It's really scary. And so just to kind of highlight how much worse can it get, right, is one, they're going to try to steal money. That's pretty straightforward. These bad actors are people. They need to fund their lifestyle somehow, whether legitimate or not. They're going to try to steal identities. They're going to try to steal your company's data, or they're going to try to stay in your system for a long time without you noticing, and they're in it for the long haul, right? Try to steal as much information or data as they can, or figure out a different way to take advantage of your company, right? And so what do you do? I'm sorry, I see my image is blocking some of this text here, but when you have that high pressure, otherwise attractive email, just pause. Do you know the sender? And are you expecting this message? In that broker's case, the benefit broker, that's a company that we work with, right? I expect to get that email, but they don't usually send me a OneNote link, or I wasn't expecting this, right? I would pick up the phone and call and verify out a channel that was legitimately intended for me and that they had actually sent that email, right? It just seems out of character. And in general, just kind of avoid clicking links if possible, right? If you get an email saying, hey, your Microsoft password is out of date, go to Microsoft.com. If it says PayPal needs X, Y, and Z information on your account, go directly to PayPal, Amazon, whatever it is, right? 9 times out of 10, if you're getting an email alerting you to an issue on an account, you're probably going to see that issue when you log into the account. So just go directly to the website. Some other best practices here too. Close the messages and go out to the website like we were just talking about. Call that known good number. I know Joe Blow's number is XYZ, so I'm going to call him on that number. Don't use a number inside of an email. A fraudster could have put it there, right? Or call your IT provider and verify that the email is legitimate. Just whatever you do, please avoid clicking links if possible, right? And at the end of the day, if you want to have an additional conversation or you want to figure out, do I really have the right tools and the right company protecting my network, give us a call or visit us on our website at runnetworkrun.com or 402-397-1123. Once again, this is Ben with Run Networks, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.